Alrighty, fellow travelers, welcome back to the Adventures of a Traveling Don, and our journey to Bermuda continues here in the Hamilton and Smiths Parish. We're here in just across from Flats Village. We're going to start off and go see the Aquarium of Bermuda, and then kind of go throughout these two parishes. There's not as much per se as, say, St. George's has, but there's still a lot to see, even particularly this beautiful little bay right here. So the first place that we're visiting on our tour is the Bermuda Museum, Aquarium, and Zoo. So it is 3-in-1 total, and it's about $10 per person to come in. And this is actually really kind of cool. Just the whole exhibit right here for the aquarium. This is just the first part. We haven't gotten to the museum or zoo yet, but just this aquarium part is absolutely fantastic. It has all the different fish that you can find around Bermuda off the shores. My mom's got stories about ones that used to come up to her when she was a kid playing in the water. It is actually really, really cool. This is an awesome aquarium. Found the mother lode, by the way. This particular tank, this is from this is all the big fish off of North Rock of Bermuda. So yeah, of course, I'm not sure what kind of shark, but you got the shark down here, and then oh, look at this stingray on the side. Oh, come back, friend. Yeah, I got some good shots of the stingray, and oh my god, that one back there, is that like a barracuda or something like that? Oh, hello. These stingrays coming to say hi. What's up, buddy? What's up? Look at that smiley face. Look at that. Yeah, this is really cool. I think that's the I'd say that's probably the chillest seal that I've ever seen over there. He's just chilling in the water in the sun, just enjoying life, you know. So when you're done with the aquarium, before you go to the zoo, I highly recommend coming into the Natural History Museum. It's really kind of cool. It delves into, obviously, the natural history of Bermuda, both before and since humans have colonized. You have to remember, when I went to the history in the last video, colonization of Bermuda didn't happen until the 1600s, when it was kind of first founded. You know, before that, it was all natural. There were no natives here, outside of the animals, insects, and everything. So it's kind of interesting to really kind of delve into it. And the museum itself not only delves into the natural history, but things that we humans need to do, both Bermudians and tourists, to really kind of keep Bermuda from truly falling into the sea to an extent. You have things like this here. This kind of goes into every Bermudan home owner, what they have to do to collect water. They have to collect rainwater themselves and have that stored into tanks as fresh water, because there are no fresh rivers, there are no fresh lakes here in Bermuda. So it's an interesting way of living. And also things like waste management, because you don't want to kill off all of the beautiful parts of Bermuda by not managing the waste that comes through here. You know, it would be one thing if it was just the people and trade, but tourism has impacted it a lot. So if you come to Bermuda, pick up and take care of your own trash. That's all I can say. But anyway, this museum is fantastic. Oh, one big point that I specifically want to mention, because I had a gentleman that actually worked at this aquarium in the last video when I was exploring Cooper Islands Nature Reserve. I was talking with him as we were kind of walking next to each other, and he was telling me about, if you go around Bermuda, you're going to see cedars. Those are not naturally born cedars here in Bermuda. Those were brought in, I think, from Australia back in the 1950s or something like that, 1960s, because in the 1940s there was a blight that basically wiped out all of the cedars, and the cedars used to be the trees that used to be used to make the wooden ships before the modern steel ships. So it's kind of sad that these cedars don't exist anymore. all because of a blight. And because of that, I think there's several different insects, specifically like the cicadas. Bermuda used to have cicadas. They don't have cicadas anymore. So it's an interesting effect that we seem to have when you kind of populate a different area, and particularly with more and more travel, you start bringing in different organisms. Some of them are for the better, others for the worst. My mom told me a funny story about how there used to never be cockroaches here in Bermuda. There are now. They were brought in around the late 1600s. And they're not just any cockroaches, they're flying cockroaches. And apparently my grandmother used to, when they lived here, once tried to swat a cockroach, and then all of a sudden it flew at her and she screamed like bloody murder. So just a fun family history there in a history museum. But no, this place is awesome. That's a chunky gator. Now look at these majestic turtles. So I rolled up wanting to say hi, but this one is like, he's wanting to square up. Just like, look at that menacing stare. Like, if I went in there, he'd probably try and take me out. I can see you eyeballing me. Look at those eyeballs. Look at that. Just protecting his own territory, you know? Okay, so those big turtles, awesome. Iguanas, great. Me, though, I'm an otter man. I love these otters. I'm not sure the name of this particular enclosure, but what's kind of cool is the fact that there's literally like 3 different, like these red lemurs that are just chilling. You don't touch them, don't feed them, but you can kind of like check and see them. They're actually really kind of cool. They're right here. They're not behind anything. That's awesome. Okay, so that was the Bermuda Aquarium, Natural History Museum, and Zoo. And it's kind of cool that you get all 3 into one. And it's only, like I said, it's only $10 for per ticket for a visit. For adults, I think for kids it was like $5. So that's actually a great place to take the family when you are here in Bermuda. Alright, so we're stopping off for a quick lunch, and this is a place called Specialty Inn. This is in Smith's Parish, and they're known for being the best pizzas in Bermuda. So we're going to give this a try. First and foremost, this pizza looks fantastic. I went and got myself kind of like a make your own with a little chorico, so a little Portuguese sausage with looks like black olives, and then garlic and some goat cheese. So like they have goat farms here in Bermuda, and it's got local goat cheese. So we're gonna try this real quick. Oh my god, that is rich. It's cheesy. I got that nice slightly spicy chorico in there. Oh man. That's good. Yeah, this has so much cheese on it. It's like, I had to actually use a fork and knife for it because it's just all over the place. But flavor-wise, that is fantastic pizza. So the next point of note here in the Hamilton and Smith parishes is what is called Spittle Pond and the Spittle Pond Nature Reserve. Now the name might not garner confidence, but it is really kind of cool. Number one, these wooded trails that you walk through around the entire pond are absolutely fantastic. The pond itself has kind of like a unique feature during certain times of the year. I think like when just like the proper, almost like elements of nature, atmospheric pressure, whatnot, all happen at the same time. And a certain algae grows at a certain time of the year that turns that water red. So it's not right. It's not right now where it's red. It's actually more brown than anything. But it is still kind of a cool function if you're here at the right time. But honestly, the nature reserve itself is what you should come here for, because the wooded trails are fantastic. And these kind of like limestone and just like sea rocks and cliffs all along this area are great pictures, particularly right now with the wind hitting. We got a storm about to come in later on tonight, and those waves are just crashing. It is fantastic. And by the way, apparently the South Shore area here with like this little bench up right above Spittle Pond is a great place during the proper season to come here and actually watch for whales, particularly humpback whales. So that's kind of cool. Another fun point of note, by the way, when you're traveling Bermuda, all these chickens, they're all over the island. And as far as I'm aware, they're all wild. I don't think there's actually a farm. They're just everywhere you go, you will hear chickens. And usually in the morning, doesn't matter where you stay in Bermuda, you're gonna hear the roosters crow. So this next spot is a recommendation from our Vrbo/Airbnb host, and this is John Smith's Bay Beach. So John Smith Bay is just out here for you. As you can see, the water, just like over at Spittle Pond, is a little choppy today. It's not really tranquil, but it is still absolutely beautiful. I think it's kind of like two separate small little cove beaches that are just kind of like almost, they're not private, but they are local and residential. It's really kind of cool. And I could say right here, oh my gosh, this sand is just so soft. Oh, I could probably just fall asleep in that sand. That's fantastic. But it is a beautiful small beach. Like I said, it's kind of divided up into two parts, but absolutely fantastic and worth, particularly on a nicer day when it's sunny, maybe the water's not as choppy. This would be a perfect beach to come down to and just hang out for a little while. Okay, so this next spot is honestly one of the top attractions here in Bermuda, and probably the top attraction here in the Smith and Hamilton parishes, and that is the Crystal and Fantasy Caves. So what you do is you come in, you go to the ticket office. It's about $24 per adult for one of the caves. You can get both for $35. We're here almost at the end of the day, so we weren't able to book both of them within the same time frame because they do them at different times. I think the Fantasy Cave is like 30 minutes, and the Crystal Caves is 25 minutes long. You get your wristband, and if you are Team Crystal Cave, you're under the green tent, and if you are Team Fantasy Cave, you are under this pinkish tent. So, but anyway, let's go into the caves and check them out. All right, I gotta say, that was actually kind of magical going in there. That was so cool. I've been to a few different types of caverns, Luray Caverns in Virginia, Cathedral Caverns in Alabama, and of course you saw the Cathedral Cave in Grotto Bay. But this was something else. I kind of wish we'd gotten here a little bit early so I could have done both the Fantasy Caves, because I heard the Fantasy Caves have a little bit more color to them when it comes to like the oxidation of the limestone. But even still, that Crystal Cave, that's the original that they discovered, I think back in like 1904 or something like that. Amazing. And it was kind of cool. I actually got my own private tour. So that was a lot of fun.
But man, just the natural beauty down there, just kind of like all those stalactites up top that just had all the, you know, it's like 2 or 3 different colors of the limestone and the differences between whether you had iron oxidation that came down or not. That was fantastic. And then the stalagmites that come up in the water. And one of the things you don't realize is that water there is kind of like a blend of 3 different waters. Like, so like the top kind of like 2 inches or so, or maybe like top couple feet are is all fresh water from all the water that drips down from the top of the caves. And then you have about foot 3 through like foot 12 or something like that, which is kind of like brackish water, which is a mixture of salt and fresh water. And then the seawater fills up the rest. And when you look down, it's actually kind of cool because that blend of brackish water and fresh water and salt water on the bottom kind of creates this weird illusion where it looks like some of the bottom areas that you see down there are maybe about, 8 feet, 10 feet deep. They're like 20 to 40 feet deep. And you're just like, what? Like some of those large stalagmites that you see in my video they're like 20 feet tall. They don't look it from above the water. So it's kind of cool. That's why it's like, if you lose anything down there, I saw plenty of sunglasses and phones and stuff. They're not going down there to go get it for you because that'd be diving like 20 to 40 feet. And none of the tour guys are going to do it. So don't lose your glasses or your phones or anything else. But that was absolutely amazing. So, all right, onward to the next spot. So next spot we're at is almost kind of like a little bit of a hidden gem. It's right before you go across the causeway into St. George's. And this is Blue Hole Park. Eventually the trails will lead into, I think, Tom Moore's jungle. But this little beach right here with all these mangroves right here are fantastic. And the mangroves are kind of like very important to Bermuda because they've been around for years, hundreds and thousands of years. And of course, number one, they're one of the few, I think the only tree really on land that actually feeds off of seawater instead of fresh water, which is really kind of cool. And, as you can see, it's in the water itself. So a lot of like small fish will basically find shelters and homes within the roots of those trees. And it's so kind of cool. It's sad that they're slowly kind of disappearing just because of climate change, rising sea levels, which of course washes away the soil that those roots are in. But it is still cool while they're still here to come and see the mangroves. And honestly, this quiet little beach here at Blue Hole Park is fantastic. By the way, when you're at Blue Hole Park, just take the trails down to Tom Moore's jungle because you can come down into small little offshoots off the trail like this behind me. This rock wall face that actually leads down into caves under there. That's freaking cool. Like I said, this area is just kind of like a little gem because there's not a lot of people here. There's nobody here right now. And most people don't even talk. My mom used to live here and she was like, I never knew about this place. So you always find little hidden gems here in Bermuda. Spot that we're doing here for the Hamilton and Smith parishes is of course the iconic Swizzle Inn. This has been around since I think 1932, and as they say at the Swizzle Inn, you gotta get a swizzle and you gotta swizzle in and swagger out. Ooh. That's good and strong.
All right, so in our last video, you probably saw that the fact that they are doing Restaurant Week during the week that we're here in February. So if you're ever here in February, come during like the beginning of the month where they have Restaurant Week. And of course, Swizzle Inn has their own Restaurant Week, and they have a $60 three-course meal. And the first appetizer is, of course, and this is actually a New England style fish chowder. They have their own Bermudian, but I'm going to try their take on the New England fish chowder. It's like all those mussels, clams. Smells good. Oh, that's fantastic. I think there's like halibut in there as well. It is a very, very good fish chowder. Delicious. All right, Wellington time. I've never actually had beef Wellington, so bottoms up. Ooh. First off, that's very hot. Oh my god. That flavor is fantastic. And that fillet is just so tender. That was a great surf and turf. Damn, that's fantastic. Okay, so for dessert, and the third course is, of course, the caramel apple upside down cake. And as you can see, there's already been a bite taken out of it. My mother decided to take a bite before I could even get to it. Just so you know, I mean, to be fair, my mother is buying the dinner tonight, which is fine, but she still took the first bite. Mother. It's like mother's right or something. Jeez. I'm gonna keep it like this for the rest of my time. Anyway, let's try this, shall we? So nice caramel apple upside down cake with a little bit of ice cream as well. Try that. Oh. Okay, that's good. I can see why you wanted to take the first bite. That was delicious. All right, so that was a lot of fun, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed all of that. That was Smith and Hamilton Parishes. Remember, there is a Hamilton Parish and there is a Hamilton City that is in Pembroke Parish. We'll eventually get to that, I think not in the next video, but the video after. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. The Crystal Caves were fantastic. That's been on the bucket list for me for a while. It was kind of cool because, again, I'm here in the off season, and that was the last tour. It meant I didn't get to go into the fantasy caves, but I got my own personal tour with the tour guide. That was really kind of cool, and definitely much more worth it than being there with like 20, 40 people like you would be during the summertime. And then, of course, the Swizzle Inn is just iconic. The little gems of like Blue Hole Park there, and some of those, the John Smith Beach. Some of those places is just like, it's stuff that I love talking to locals about, and they tell me go here and go here because it's places that not many people really kind of attract themselves to. But it was still a lot of fun. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. I'll get to those as soon as I can. And of course, if you like the video, give it a big old thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. What are you waiting for? And of course, hit that notification bell. And if you want to help support the travels, I do have both a Patreon page and a Buy Me a Coffee account, and I do so very much appreciate all the support. But anyway, guys, until we meet again, peace out and have a great night.